guys did the VR, right?
Yeah,
How was it?
that was fun, dude.
That's virtual reality, right?
Yeah.
It's like a video game and
Did
stuff.
it make you dizzy?
No, actually, because it was more interactive, and it was actually the Oculus now. It's really cool. Like it was
But I saw you guys weren't even moving.
you know.
Do you have like the whole space to move it? You just start walking.
He's already worried.
No, dude, we were really scared.
Like,
It was really scary.
Gonna fall off the cliff.
That's similar to the one that you linked us, though, right?
Yeah, but that one is, I don't think you move, but the truck moves, I think.
What? There's a truck on a truck.
You go
I mean,
you
what
go
truck?
inside the like a truck, like I think it's like a bus or something, and then you guys have each station, and then I think it moves
Right?
Oh wait.
because it's a whole lot. I think.
Oh, okay, that's probably a crazier one.
Yeah, but at least you're stationary. You're not gonna go anywhere compared to what you guys have. Because like if you guys got scared, you're just gonna run.
No,
to
we
each
were
other.
running around. We were hitting each other.
All
Yeah.
right, I think we're live. It's been a while,
It has.
right?
It's been.
So we have a new guest, right?
Yes, we
Hey,
do.
what's up?
You want to introduce
Yeah.
the guest?
Yeah,
So
introduce
let's
guy.
go introduce the guy. Well, we have a newest six-figure earner, also
Nice.
FEG ESP holder, right? It took me 3 years to get this guy on board. You know, I really wanted to get him to work with me, work with us here in FEG, and finally, he said yes. It took him a while to get started because as he was trying to feel things out, and then finally something just triggered.
Yep.
Said yes, I'm going to do it. Less than a year, hit his first 100,000, and is getting his ring very soon. So let me introduce to you our newest guest, Mr. Jevin Tablang.
Yeah.
Wow.
MC Jevin.
Wow, thanks for that intro. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be here, guys.
Welcome. It's our pleasure for you to be
Yeah,
in here.
it is a
Thanks for
pleasure.
having me.
I get to meet somebody that's made 100,000 less than a year.
Oh yeah.
While we're still in pandemic.
Yeah.
During the
Actually,
pandemic,
this was during the pandemic.
And you're
True.
a young buck too.
it definitely is crazy. It's a crazy, amazing feeling that you heard Ace say it took him 3 years. It did take him 3 years.
Would you
There are multiple reasons as to why. Wait, what were you saying?
Would you ever like imagine yourself 100,000 earner?
In this like, I guess, field of work, no. If you asked me that maybe like 5-10 years ago, no, I would have never guessed. I honestly would have
So it was
never
no
guessed it.
either.
No, because my mind was like completely different. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, it wasn't in a. I was against business anything. Like,
Yeah.
I think in general.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, I guess I just had like a negative stereotype about it.
Yeah.
My brain was like, no, you should be employed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's probably
get-
the best way so that you
Yeah,
know
I
you
get-
have a steady, stable income.
I get that. It's like typical, traditional family. Like mine was like college, school, finish
Mm-hmm.
college, get a degree, then get a job,
Yep.
and then you have
Basics.
a family. Repeat the cycle with your kids, college again, degree, then school, But what was your story? So let's say before he was trying to recruit you in this business or force you into this business.
For lack of better words.
Yeah. So how did you start? Did you have because you said you were like in the career path, right? So
Yeah, for sure. No, so I completely agree with what you were saying. I think everybody, or majority of the people in general, like probably the common population, their mindset is to go through school.
Yeah.
There's something that I hear my brother whenever he does his BOP sometimes. He asks the crowd, he's like, when you're little and the teacher asks, what do you guys want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't see a kid, or normally you won't see a kid, or rarely even see a kid raise his hand and say, I want to be an insurance agent.
Yeah.
They're like, what even is that?
Never.
No, like, I mean, like, in general, even like when you have like, you see kids or babies, like the parents or the grandparents or whatever, they're usually teaching them to be like a doctor or like a
Yeah,
nurse
something
or
Sciencey,
something.
you
Yeah, you know, like,
ninjas.
oh, like
Something prestigious.
something prestigious, because that's kind of like what we're trained and, like, I guess, brought up by community to be.
Yeah.
Even though like time has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Like that used to be like what you were supposed to do.
Yep.
You know, like, and it made sense to do it, but like with times changing now, or even before, like just a lot of people never really got to see it. But to answer your question, James, yes, I was on the main route of education and being employed. I graduated with my BS in biomedical sciences.
Oh, so medical field.
Yeah, so I mean, typical, you're like typical Filipino thing. Like, hey, if you're gonna be a nurse, or you're gonna be a doctor, or if you're not gonna be that, you're gonna be a lawyer.
But that one is your choice, right?
It was. So the main reason why that happened in the first place is because my passion always was to help people. I know Ace's was too, and I think this started for both of us. Like this is always like my why story as to why I'm also here. Is that in third grade, this is a way back, my aunt passed away with colon cancer, and she was just 30.
Wow.
Okay, and to kind of get like the feel for that, Ace is 30 now. I don't know if I'm allowed to say his age, but Ace is 30 now. You're young, you guys are young, and it's just crazy. That was the most traumatic thing that I think that I experienced early on in my life that really impacted me, because it was like, I saw her pass away on her deathbed. My favorite aunt took us to all the Lakers. She was technically like my second mom, because if my mom or dad wasn't there, she'd be the one babysitting.
Do you remember what age was that one?
Yeah, I was in third grade, so I think I was
like 9.
9.
Yeah,
9.
Wow.
And I still remember the day specifically. It was already the end of the day. We were in this small school. All of us are in one class. Even my brother, we were all in one class. And I remember my teacher got a call, and the teacher told us, Ace, Jevin, your dad is outside. There's an emergency. You have to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And Ace was just like, okay.
Must be like.
And then just literally on the drive back, I remember it was so emotional because my dad said the words that, like, I don't know, like as a third grader, you don't really expect to, like, Ace was what, like 5th, 6th grade?
yeah, 6th grade, I think. Yeah,
6th grade. It's like you don't really know how to process that at such a young age.
Yeah.
Like, we know that my aunt was fighting it, like diagnosed at 30, and she was 36 at this point. So she's been fighting it for 6 years, and it was just like, hey, like your aunt is taking her last breaths. That's why we're here picking you up. And
Wow.
I didn't know. I didn't know how to process that.
Yeah.
It was just so much emotions. I think I just started I think I was quiet the whole car ride back, and then the emotions just came flooding.
Because you don't even understand what you're feeling at the time.
Like death in general. Like, I don't think that was even like that much of a thing for me.
Yeah, you're
And
probably.
it's probably
aware.
the first experience you have too, so you don't really know how to go through the whole process.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how Ace was experiencing.
yeah.
it,
We didn't have any pets.
No,
Other than a
that, like,
goldfish.
passed away? No,
Other than a
nothing.
goldfish, that was it pretty much, right? Yeah, there was really no like death.
So
And-
that car ride was just quiet.
It was quiet.
It was quiet. Like,
was quiet.
I wasn't crying it. I was kind of like, is this real? Like, what does that mean then? So once we got there, like the whole family was there. She was there like on her like deathbed, like breathing. And I remember, I don't know who was that whispered in my ear. I think it was my dad. But he's like, tell her to wake up. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I'll just follow orders. I really didn't know. I still remember. I don't think I told Ace this, but they were like, tell her to wake up. And you could just tell like her breathing was already shallow. And from there, I just felt so helpless.
Wow.
And it was like, Tita Jackie, wake up. And like when she wasn't replying, you just see like the whole environment, everybody crying. That's when I was like, oh, wow, this is.
So that's when
That's when everything came in. I started bawling. I started having like questions like, why am I unable to do anything? I think that was really the first time that I was like, I want to be in a field where I can help people.
Oh yeah.
well, in a young age.
In a very young age, I knew where I wanted to be because of that. Before that, maybe I wanted to be, like some fancy, like, astronaut or something.
Yeah.
Like maybe like first, second grade, like when your family just tells you, hey, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But after that, that's when I knew I wanted to help in some way. And the only way that kids know growing up is like through the medical field.
Doctor,
Right? 'Cause you can
nurses,
be a nurse,
yeah.
you can be a doctor, you
Yeah.
can be a surgeon. So all I knew at that point was, wow, I was helpless. I watched one of my favorite people pass away on their deathbed, and I was helpless for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It didn't take me a while until I realized that there were so many other factors happening around besides her health deteriorating, that's when I kind of understood here. And when Ace said like a light kind of just like dinged, that was it. It was when Ace explained living benefits.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jevin, you have the ability to change people's lives. Not so more so in like the doctor field or like, you know,
in a different way.
In a different way, but in a way that like you could have had someone live with their loved ones longer, or even be able to like, extend their lifetime from like being able to treat them.
It's not a miracle drug that can cure cancer.
Exactly.
But if there's a way to prolong someone's life or borrow time, right? Mm-hmm. I will do that. I will pay, whatever money it is, just to extend the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's honestly the main thing. It was like, I thought that the only way that you could achieve my passion, what I wanted to do, which was helping others, in that sense, like for specifically like cancer people, because that's what she fought, and that's kind of like one of the things that I was geared towards, and like just living benefits, being able to provide living benefits, kind of coincided with that, because I'm like, I get to provide families this coverage so that if ever any of their loved ones get sick with cancer or stroke or heart attack, any of this, hey, they have money. They don't have to worry about that. They just worry about getting better. They can see their loved ones. The whole stress of the family and the finances doesn't have to be a factor.
Yeah.
And I know that was a factor for us.
Yeah.
So like fast forward, so that was the turning point for you. I need to be in the medical field. So you went to school and then study biomed.
Yes. Yeah. So I did 4 years. I did biomedical sciences with an emphasis in medicine. And that was around the time that Ace was like, "Hey, Jevin, like, kind of like look at what I'm, me."
I think I even went to your graduation.
Yeah, I think so.
You graduated.
I was there.
Wow.
Were you?
Yeah, I was there, and I remember Ace going,
That was
"Dude, try to talk to my brother." I'm like,
yeah. Well, see, I think he started. I think when he says 4 years, he was trying to start talking to me about like.
It was a Chinese buffet.
Yeah.
I was there.
It was 2017, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it was after my first year in the industry.
Yeah, and that all that time, like Ace was kind of telling me a little bit of this and this and this, but like I don't think he got into the nitty gritty of like the living benefits. So I think that's why I was kind of like, yo, let me finish my thing, dude. Like I'm trying to get something so I could help people,
right.
Get my degree, finish my degree, make some money.
But since you guys are brothers, I know Ace is almost the same. You have the same reason why you went to nursing, right? Same concept. You're just the smarter one, I guess. He wanted
to go to school longer. I wanted to go to school longer.
For 12 years.
I mean that's definitely one of the truths.
So because you have that, and you're the youngest, Ace is the eldest, so you kind of have that like, watching your brother, going to school, he finishes school, he has this. And then suddenly, he let go of, he didn't let go of his degree, but he chose a different path as opposed to like pursuing. Did that affect you in some way? Like you started questioning, why did you let go of nursing instead of?
Yeah, I thought he was like, I thought he was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, I mean, like,
true.
because someone who has that mindset of like, you need to be employed. Like if you have that mindset and you see someone kind of go off the rails, I guess I could say before I thought he was going off the rails, I was like, yo, are you sure about this, dude? And I mean, it influenced me in the sense that like, I was like, maybe he does know where he's going, what he's doing, but for sure on my end, I was like, whoa, like that's different. I don't know if you're making the right move. I was kind of like unsure and doubtful for him.
Yeah. Because I can see that, because being a person outside your family, like seeing it, right?
Yeah.
One is you guys grew up, of course, the same time, and you had the same reason, that traumatic experience. If I was looking at like, that will make you question, like, first we kind of had this, not like an agreement, but we're going to pursue something in medical field so we can help people.
Right.
That's number one, right? And then suddenly you let go of nursing and then did something else. It's business, right? And of course, at the time, probably you only know it's just business. You don't really know the details of what the business is, right?
Yeah.
And then second is like, oh yeah, you have to be employed. What happens to your benefits and things like that? You know, the whole 9 yards. So, so that kind of like, you know, in putting it in perspective, it might be hard for you to like absorb everything at the time. So you might be probably like, okay, let me watch him first, right?
Kind of. Honestly, I mean, Ace can speak up on this if he wants to, but Ace honestly was like the guinea. I mean, he's the eldest, so like the eldest is usually the guinea pig for everything. You know, being raised by your parents. You know, if you get dropped, you know, that you're the all the accidents happen with you. You know, so if anything, Ace experienced everything first. You know, which I'm you know thankful for, I guess, because he had to go through the blunt stuff.
Yeah, he kind of paved the way.
He basically paved the way. Like honestly, I'm grateful for him being in. Or paving that way. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
So how did you start it, Ace? How did you start that conversation?
Oh yeah, I like that story. How you got him in here?
Yeah. Okay, that was another. I guess it's another.
Yeah, it's a big story. I mean, yeah, it's a whole process.
I mean, it took a long time. It took a long time because I
took 3 years.
I do remember you telling me like, because I used to tell Ace all the time like, get your brother in there, dude. He's like, oh man.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. So I was already, if you remember, for those who've been listening to the podcast, joined Freedom Equity Group in 2016. We did 100,000 in that first year, and I think that was the time. I was like, you know what, I'm going to tell my brother about being in this business because I think he needs to make some income. While he's in school. That's all I want. But I was like, he needs to make some income while he's in school, and it's his first one. Exactly what Jevin said. He didn't want to do it because why would he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's already going to make 6 figures as his profession. Yeah. As a doctor. But I think that the shift changed when I was like, I don't think he's in there about the money. I think it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It was about helping people.
The passion.
We went back and I talked about like, do you even know what kind of products do we offer? No. And he's like, I was like, and then he said, I know you guys are in the life insurance. Yeah. Like, I don't want to do life insurance. I don't want to sell life insurance.
I remember when I first met him in our convention, like a Super Saturday, and you introduced like, "Oh, I'm just here watching. Don't talk to me about product. Don't talk to recruitment."
Yeah, that's what he would say. I'm just here watching.
Yeah. So year after year, I think on that third year. So third year, I said, you know what? It took me that long to finally figure out like what he really wanted. On the third, I said, you know what? Do you know about living benefits? And we can help people get money if they were diagnosed with cancer. And because cancer was big for us. And he said, you know what? Okay, tell me a little bit more about that. So I remember that's 2020, end of 2019, early 2020 was in reality when he started to come in.
Yeah.
When he started to join.
Hold on. I just want to interject because like that's a really good lesson like for viewers that are listening too. Because like the fear of objections, right? Mm-hmm. And rejections is the number one thing for a lot of new associates that we have. So, and most of the hardest one is your family. And like you said, it took 3 years, but right. And it took you like almost 3 years to figure out why am I not, connecting to this person? Like I'm telling everything that I know, but it's not connecting. And then you finally figure out maybe it was the wrong approach.
Yep.
So that's a good like lessons for a lot of like listeners and people that are watching that you even as are already successful, you still do rejections and objections, right?
All the time.
And it's family too. So think about it as family. And the thing is, it's not like when he joined in, it was like boom, like he started right away. No, he was skeptical, right? You were skeptical about the whole thing. Like, wait, what?
If you know me, like because of the whole the biology and the whole medicine background too, like. We have the scientific method where you do as much research first. You form all these hypotheses. You're very skeptical. Like as a scientist, you're skeptical in general, right? Yeah. So that's kind of how my thinking was, and I was like, cool, I want to do my own research first. Like I'm not gonna just jump into this and just because
everything
just because we're family too,
Everything has to be evidence based.
I have to know, basically evidence based. Like how authentic is this? Like is this actually real? Like are you guys actually paying the money? All this? Like are you actually getting paid? Like is this blood money? No, is this real? But yeah, so I told him, I was like, I got to do my own like research first.
So he was actually like your best practice for objections because he has a long list.
Yeah.
So So you have to ask all the questions.
Like as skeptical as it gets.
Yeah. You kind of like written a book of what questions somebody's gonna
Yep.
ask, and Ace has to answer all these questions, right?
I mean, the good thing though was like, you know, when he joined, it's that 3 years that he saw that 3-year process where, you know, I've been now in FEG for like 4 years. You know, we started making like from 100 and then 200, 250, 300, and then at that point I was like, okay, something's changing here. Like, you know, like what is what?
Yeah,
is
yeah. I mean, like I'm seeing it, you know. So I mean, like for people that are like me, for the viewers that are out there, maybe because you're new, and like, if you want to skip the 3 years that it took me to join, like the evidence is there. Like, if you're looking for like, are you sure you're actually making money? Hey, this room is basically $1 million room. So, like, it's the money's there. Okay, and it's actual money. Like that's so when Ace was saying like, yeah, like, you know, he's been here for 4 years, 100K, 200K, 250, 300. I'm like, oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay, like yeah, money's there. Money's there. Like, is it actually in the bank? Yeah, it's there in the bank. So
Yeah,
so, like
those are fair questions.
yeah. So yeah, I mean money wise or like or how like I guess stability, because that was also one of my
Yeah.
things. Like, can you be stable with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to that employee mindset, right?
Going back to the employee
Yeah.
mindset, because like I said, I thought that this was even before that because I remember Ace and I would have a lot of like debates on this, and I was like, no, it's a lot safer to be an employee. And when I ended up joining the business, I started seeing evidence as to why it's not safe for being an employee. And I was like, oh wait, like even like one of my older friends who is like a manager at his thing, who's worked there for like 10 years, just randomly got dropped. Like
Wow.
I thought like he was important, because he'd always tell me like, no, like what I'm doing is like,
Yeah,
I'm the key person, you know,
Yeah.
and just you're
He's
so
high up.
disposable.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I apologize to Ace. I guess I was fighting without like actually knowing, you know, employee standards and stuff.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
but yeah.
that's definitely like
That's-
something that changed my mindset too. I was like, whoa, you could work at your place as an employee for the longest time.
Yeah.
And you think you're important. Well, you could be important, but like just if there's ever a reason for the company needing to just drop you,
They
will.
do. You're just a tool.
They do. You're just
You're just a number.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you study for college for a long time, you get that degree so you can get an interview and get into an application. Once you're inside, you know, they say like if a person that works for like 10, 15, 20 years died tomorrow, it gets replaced immediately.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what he did, you know?
I do want to say though, like there is nothing wrong.
There's nothing
with
wrong
being
with
an
it.
employee.
No,
you know?
no, yeah.
It's just, you know, where do you see yourself in life? You know, is
Exactly.
that
Yeah,
what
it's
you
just
want?
the perspective,
Yeah.
like what you had.
it's pretty
And we're not saying this business is also invincible to a lot of things
Yeah.
that can
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's a
This
lot of issues with it,
tomorrow,
too.
this business can be gone. But the thing is that at least versus you know, being an employee, at least because you're technically the business owner, you're running your business, you can kind of foresee what's going to happen,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? So you can kind of prepare a plan B or plan C in case, right?
True.
And it's the same thing. Like, you know, I still have my license as a nurse. I haven't let go of that because that's something I cannot take away. If something happens, I can always go back.
Right. You
Right?
have it.
Because you have it. It's not something like, you know, you're going to let go. But at least, you know, as a business owner, you can kind of find ways to, you know, if something happens, at least in a way you can kind of be in control, right? So we went through that. Ace answered all your questions, right? And was able to convince you. Do you remember your first rejection on trying the business?
Well, yeah, actually. I have this talk a lot with like other people my age or other millennials.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the hardest things to do as like people like our age kind of, or like if you're kind of new, it's talking to your peers about it.
Yeah.
True.
Because it's like some of their mindsets are not there.
Yep.
They're pretty far. Some of them are still kind of back. They're still kind of like in their college lives, or like, you know, they're not really thinking about the whole financial side of things yet. So like sometimes you have this wave of like, oh man, I'm so motivated. Like, let me go make money. Let me go share this because I'm so passionate about it. And you tell them, and basically kind of like what happened to Ace to me. Or
Exactly.
with Ace to me.
So I was gonna say, did you see yourself in
Kind
their
of.
shoes?
No, yeah. So No, yeah, exactly.
So now you're the ace.
Now
of the
I'm the
friend.
ace trying to convince Jevons of the world. All my friends who are also probably just as skeptical as me, who also have like negative connotations of like life insurance and stuff. And it's just like, why can't you see what I'm seeing? Like this is huge. And I also like, so I like putting myself in, I feel like I'm an empath, so I like putting myself in other people's shoes like most of the time. And I think for a lot of people, if they haven't experienced something big enough that like it would make them think about it,
Yep.
kind of like if someone passed away from their family or someone really close.
Yeah,
Like
or your back is against the wall. and you don't have
Or
any
exactly,
choice.
yeah. Or Ace actually says a lot, like having your back against the wall. If you haven't experienced that, like you don't have that feeling yet to kind of to move or the drive to do something that like is out of your comfort zone. And I think that's why a lot in the beginning, like I was getting a lot of like rejections, and it kind of turned me off to like, you know, telling my peers at least. So what I would do, I would just be like, all right, well, just tell your parents. Just tell your parents that this exists,
Yeah.
you know, and if they are interested, you know, just have them call us or call me.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, like
Did that work?
the initial, yeah, well, yeah. Well, it was more like you planted seeds,
Yeah.
and then once something happened, or they remembered that like their son told them something about that, then that's how you kind of got like that's how it kind of got the client.
It's because they're kind of like their gatekeeper on the household, right?
Yeah.
And it works on most of our young generation too. Is, you know, at least because if you talk to the parents directly, it might not happen, right? But if you talk to the person you know, and they remember, at least they can introduce you, right?
Yeah, my thing was like not to be very pushy about it. It's I felt like once I fully understood exactly what the whole living benefits thing was and like what it could do, like I felt like I was obligated to at least share it, at least to the people I cared about, like my friends and their families, because once you know it, it's kind of like, hey, if you aren't sharing this, you might feel kind of guilty because if something happened,
Correct.
That's true.
You could have
Yeah,
protected them.
Fred kind of shared the story.
Yeah,
You
it
had
happened like that.
Something happened.
Like one of my friends that I used to do, well, not used to, I still do jujitsu, but I've known him for a while, and it's one of those things. Like I didn't approach him because I just feel like I'll
Like he
keep
wouldn't like
business,
it, right, or
business,
something?
and
Yeah.
I keep my
Friends.
personal life. I just felt like the same. It's like probably they're gonna ask tons of questions, blah blah blah. But yeah, his daughter got diagnosed with throat cancer, and I was like, felt really bad. Like, and then my other friend that trains with us, his wife got breast cancer. So I'm like, even worse. So it just made me feel like that's the biggest problem in our industry is not opening our mouth, because if I did, let's say he doesn't buy it, it makes me feel at least not feel good, but feel relieved that I
At least-
told
At least
you.
you mentioned it.
Yeah.
But now it's like I feel guilty because I didn't say anything. So
Yeah. I mean, you're not saying you can change the outcome. They can still say no at that time, and
Right,
you know,
right.
don't listen. But at least you mentioned something, right?
But the good thing about it is like, you know, I told him, I was honest. I was like, you know what, I didn't want to tell you guys because I know you're gonna question me and you think you get all these things, like, and it just told them the whole thing. And then I mean, right now, of course, the daughter and the wife can't get it, but they're getting it for themselves and the other kids. So.
Yeah. And then that kind of like shows too that like for some people it does take like a big turning point to kind of have that your eyes open.
It definitely does.
And I mean, you could probably say the same thing with like COVID, right? Like with our times right now. Not saying that you should go get your vaccine or you shouldn't go get your vaccine, but I have people who after getting COVID, they were like, I should get the shot. I should get the vaccine. You know, just because of like
I mean, it sucks
What
that
they went through.
Yeah, it sucks.
what they went through.
Yeah,
You know.
it sucks that you have to wait for something to happen, and sometimes it might be too late. You know?
Right. It's like that for a lot of cases though. So so it kind of just goes down to like human nature. I think innately, we don't want to like have to go and change something that, you know, if it's been this way already, a lot of people just don't like change.
Yeah.
Like in general, I mean, I don't like change either. Like I usually say I don't like change, but it's like even for me, like I guess like unless it was a lot of research or like a big catalyst happens, then you know I'm like, okay, do it. Sign me
let's
up.
do it. Yeah, Yeah, and then going back to that, objections with your friends and stuff. I know Ace kind of shared the same thing too. You have the same problem and issue, and because once you become successful in this business, it's good, but it's also bad in the same way because your circle got smaller.
Yeah.
Way smaller, right? And you have that experience too.
Oh
right?
yeah. It just gets smaller. Like, it's just like for some people, like, and I'll say this again because I love to talk about this. I just recently talked with a friend, and one of my good friends from college, he goes, some of your friends actually don't want to talk to you as much anymore because they see you in a different level, and they know that they're not there, so they're actually kind of scared to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm still the same person as when I was. Maybe income has changed, maybe finances changed, maybe lifestyle has changed a little bit, but I'm still the same person. Intimidating. And then they're like, I hope he never talks to me about the business, And I get that a lot. I'm starting like figuring out like, okay, now how do I, introduce them and talk about it casually? And then at the back of the mind, another friend told me, I have some friends asking, Ace, like, what are you doing? And it's just weird because you have this tension. They call it a tension where some people will be away from you now, and some people will just be like, okay, I kind of want to talk to you. I'm kind of curious, but I kind of want to just keep my guard up.
Yeah.
Right? And that's all the things that, as you start to get more experience in the industry, as you start to get to different levels, and hopefully you exponentially grow every single year, right? You start to sense that. Yeah. And I kind of want to go back. I want to go back now because that actually led to the segue of when Jevin first started here. He did his own research.
Yeah.
And he was just doing this here and there, started this, but he never really like just did it. And I think it's a good story for everyone to hear about safety nets, maybe, if you're okay with sharing that, because I did the same talk, and I remember one of my mentorship groups talk about safety nets, and people don't realize that having that safety net sometimes starts to just kind of like, you're okay with just mediocrity. Yeah. Is it okay if?
Yeah, you're trying to go back to your comfort zone again.
Yeah. So I think Ace is trying to get me to tell the story of like when I started.
Yeah.
Because I've been an agent here for a couple of years now, but I guess Ace says like you didn't do anything, you were just there.
You're just
there. Yeah, until like you, it really comes down to like getting out of your comfort zone, because a lot of us are like, we have this bubble around us, and it's like you don't ever want to step out of that because it's scary. You don't know what's outside of that bubble. You know?
It's kind of like your tunnel vision. Like
exactly.
You're only seeing things that you want to see. Unless you step out of that comfort zone, you'll see a different whole new world.
Yeah, and it's a different experience for everybody. It's a different like challenge to tackle for everyone. They're in different walks of life. Some people have to take a bigger step than others. Some people are very like sheltered. Some people don't even know like what risks are because decisions are always made for them, or they never had to make a decision that would alter their life in like such a huge way. So I guess my experience was this was actually last year during the pandemic. So I was already in the business, but I was kind of just like here and there about it. Wasn't really like too serious. And Ace was kind of like, yo, Jevin, like, I don't get it. You have the passion to like, the passion and the potential to be good in this business, but like, what's keeping you?
Right.
And we did a lot of brainstorming. We even got into like a heated debate, and it's like I could tell the debate got heated because it was like my internal like
struggle or something. Yeah,
internal like struggle, or like I don't want to hear what you're telling me because what you're telling me is the truth.
Exactly.
And no one likes to hear the truth.
Yeah, it's your mind, your body, your emotion goes to this defense mechanism mode.
Right.
It's like a fight or flight.
And I was coming up with like every single like reason as to like why Ace is wrong. And for me, like Ace was asking about safety nets, or talking about safety nets, and one of the main reasons why I wasn't pushing, or I was so content with where I was at, or didn't want to step out of my bubble, is because what I deduced from me and Ace talking was I had my safety net, and that was me being with my parents.
Yeah.
Like I was so codependent.
Yeah.
Always. because I mean I'm the second child, you know, like you get treated
you
better.
Get the benefits and perks.
You get treated better, you know, like because obviously Ace is the one that took he leaped off the.
Well, try to be a middle child, bro.
Right. That's different. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happens to them. But yeah, you know, like since Ace is like the what do you call it? Like the guinea pig.
Yeah.
You know, he jumps off the deep end of the pool, not knowing if anybody's gonna catch him. But like since he's done all that stuff already, like I know I could probably get caught because I kind of know like the end goal and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was just like I didn't want to change, and I had my parents there kind of as a safety net. And one of the biggest things was Ace and I were trying to figure out like how can you change that then? How can you get out of your safety net? How do you
like force yourself to be outside the bubble?
That was actually, so I actually had started trying to be more independent, and that was when I had developed this like love for solo traveling, like even small trips. I just wanted to get out there and just know that hey, you don't need anyone but yourself.
Yeah.
You know, well, money. You need you need money. You need a phone, maybe a charger, and a car.
Yeah.
But you can survive alone. It's like this like human thing that's like if I don't have like my family with me, I feel like I'm gonna die. And I think that's kind of like what my thing was. So Ace was, or I guess I realized that me living in the vicinity with like my whole family and just like them being there for me every morning when I wake up and just like all of that, it was like I don't want to change this. But also I realized that's kind of like what my safety net was. And it was what was causing me to not get up and be more proactive, be more motivated, be less content with what I'm doing and try to shoot for more. So literally this was like within a span of a day. I was actually thinking about moving out like in the next year. So technically this year, but Ace and I spoke and it was just like, it was a very rash decision. And he convinced me. He's like, after a whole debate, he's like, Jevin, like, do you think this would be something that would allow you to you know, move to the next level of your life? And I was like, I think so. I was unsure, right? I was unsure, but I felt like this is probably a good move towards, you know, being more independent, you know, growing up, being more adult, taking more responsibilities.
But just the thought of you saying, I think so, this is the move, you already crossed that path.
Yeah.
Because you forgot that
it wasn't even an option before for me.
It's you know, it's before you're gonna choose your safety net or move out.
Right.
I like where I'm living. I don't have to pay rent.
Yeah. It was also kind of like that too. Like, hey, once you move out, you're paying your own stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like you gotta do stuff.
But you put yourself against the wall on your own.
Well, with the help of Ace helping me realize that. So I'm actually really grateful that Ace did. It was a very like apprentice master moment that Ace and I had, because it was like he made me like cry. He made me like realize things, and this was like just last year. So I was like, he was getting all my emotions riled up, like a true like mentor teacher. So I was like, wow. Like after the whole ordeal, you know, at first I was angry at him, but then like he knew. That's what I appreciate about Ace. Is really good with like his words and how he like how he talks to you, puts everything together into pieces, and it's just like, whoa, I realized that you just made me like a puppet. But not really like a puppet, but it was like you coached me, like you beat me down to realize like what my true potential is.
Yeah, not to put you down.
Not to put me down, like kind of like to break down the shells that I built up in my life. And it was, and because Ace and I have a really good relationship. That's why we can be open with each other like that.
I could tell.
So yeah, like, and that's Ace just, I was just like, wow. Afterwards, I was like, yo, that was actually really good, like, mentorship that you just did. Like,
and that's the best decision you did. The best decision.
Can you share how much you made after 3 months after doing that?
Okay, so after 3 months, like, it was like a new clear, like I said, like no safety nets. Like,
you just moved into the apartment.
Moved to the apartment. You know, I was like, okay, like just, you know, focus on it, like go business. Like in 3 months, I made $50K.
Yeah.
Wow. So technically, I've been in the business for a few years, but when I decided, so a lot of it, like for those of you that are listening there, like a lot of it is mindset. Like maybe you guys have been in the business maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
But that shift in mindset and like just stepping out of your bubble, stepping out of your safety net, like it changes your drive, changes dynamic, changes motivation.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with family. Of course, family comes first.
Right.
But the thing is that too is like, because we're kind of set up in this system that it's a repetitive cycle. Is whatever your parents been doing before when they were kids, it's the same thing you're gonna do as a kid as well. And that's why it's hardest to do something. And even though, let's say you're motivated, you have a different mindset, right? You create it differently, and you want to move out of your comfort zone. The number one person that's gonna pull you down, it's like a rubber band, is gonna keep you pulling down, is your family, because they want you to be on the same thing, like that, like the same bubble,
Because
right?
that's what they know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but, getting out of that and now seeing that, you have that, you are the change that can create that, right? And for you, it's the same concept. It's like Ace paved the way for you to kind of see it. It took a while for you to see it, but at least you were able to see that, and now you were able to get out. And now you're you're paving your own way for your friends.
It kind of lined up too, because like the few years or months back when I was like kind of shyly, ashamedly telling my friends about it, that's when like it all kind of lined up during that time where like they came to me and they're like, hey, like my parents are trying to inquire about this.
Yeah.
And, like they have this 401k or they have this IUL. Like, then I was like, oh, okay, like it's kind of lining up. And on top of that, like you guys probably get this a lot if you guys are posting on like your IGs or something, but a lot of people are asking like on your social media, like, how are you traveling so much? How are you finding time, or how are you always do you work?
Do you even work?
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah, so I do. I am doing FEG part time. I have another thing that I'm managing, which is our other family business.
No, but just a question, like, I never seen you work, but how do you have your own place?
Yeah, so for me, one of my biggest things, like I said, that I started probably like a few years ago now, was the love of traveling, and I've just been wanting. I have like this they call it wanderlust. It's kind of like you just want to just go out there and just experience the world. And so whenever I travel, I try to just post like, oh, I'm here. I was in Chicago, I was in Texas, or I'm in Hawaii right now. And I get a lot of friends that are asking me like, oh, how are you able to do this? So I just give them like a short and sweet summary.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good way of getting them.
yeah, no. So like, no, I just tell them like, I'm doing that. I am working. Like, this is what I'm doing, and I just leave it short and sweet. And then if it kind of like, if they take the bait and like want to talk about it, then hey, let's talk.
Because I know, like, for us, for all of us, actually, we're not the type of like, oh, this is what I drive, this is what I do, all the bells and whistle, right? The money.
Yeah.
But the lifestyle you do, it makes people like ask, and I think that's the humble way.
Yeah.
And you make it short and sweet, like not like bragging, oh, because I have money.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So that's good. And then now that you hit your 100K,
Yeah.
ESP
did
holder.
that? Yeah, and ESP.
Oh yeah, you are.
Your equity
Which we
shareholder.
have some good.
He's a
news
part
about
owner
that,
now.
so.
You're a part owner.
Right.
Good news about that.
Does that made your friends open their mind more? Not
Oh, I don't think anybody knows that I'm a 100K earner yet.
Yeah,
It hasn't posted.
Actually, probably
I haven't
today was the
posted-
first
I
time I
haven't
ever
posted
posted
anything.
stuff about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was just recent. If you're hearing this podcast, like I think I just had hit it maybe like
A week
days
ago.
A week ago now.
Yeah.
Which is
Last
weird
Friday,
because
right?
technically you've already been making six figures with everything that you're doing, but it's your first six figures with
Also,
FEG.
also within like a year too.
Yeah.
Or like a year time within FEG.
And
Like that's huge.
Pandemic is going.
and
It's
during the
huge.
pandemic.
I do have to say it's huge because, like I think Ace mentioned it earlier, I'm not money focused. I am more about providing help.
Right.
And I think if you're listening to this, like this is, it's amazing how Freedom Equity Group gives you that opportunity that I'm not even focused on trying to make the money. I'm focused on helping others and
Yeah,
making sure that they're financially stable whenever something happens to their family members.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're just getting money.
And I bet you didn't even know you were 100,000.
I did. Honestly, I didn't, because the thing is like, yeah, of course, with the help of like my mom and also Ace and my team, it's almost sporadic. Like I kind of just do it whenever I'm out. I try to make it a thing where I at least tell one person new.
Guys.
Anyway, if you've never heard, like, it was weird because I started making it a habit, even though, so it was kind of like another step to get out of my comfort zone. I was talking about it to like my barber, to like the cashier randomly, and like, hey, if they didn't understand it, hey, we have a meeting here every Tuesday,
Yeah.
every Wednesday. Like, hey, come by. And it was just something that I tried making like a daily thing. Like, share it because you have the ability to help.
Yeah.
Why not do it?
Right.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that, like, even if you're not focused on making the money, if you just focus on helping others, money will come.
And that's what I like about this business too, because like how you mentioned it, it's, yeah, we work a lot probably than most, but it's not stressful. Because compared to your job, you're always stressed, right?
Yeah.
This one, you wake up.
I'm in Manhattan.
Yeah, you don't even worry about the money your money's gonna make.
I
if you're
wake
gonna
up,
make
I'm in
money.
New York.
Yeah, exactly.
I was in Santa Barbara all week last week. So.
Oh, you were there for the whole week?
Yeah. The Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah,
Nice,
he
man.
was eating, and then now tonight after this one, we're gonna eat again.
Oh, man.
So, but yeah, so now that you had that, 100,000 under your belt, and we always, when we were starting, they were saying, yeah, you hit your 100,000. It's just a step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the
Just
first,
the beginning, bro.
I thought it was like, 100,000. Okay, I made it.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I mean, you got a ring. You got a nice ring now, right?
Yeah,
I still get my
exactly.
ring soon.
Yeah.
you should. So, and that, that's a big step, and the story you had, and people knowing that like it didn't came overnight,
Yeah.
It did it. Honestly, like I know nothing, or like before any of this, I literally nothing about
The business.
insurance and
Yeah.
anything. So a lot of people that are saying like, oh, I can't do it because it's not my field.
Yeah, and
But
but
this wasn't my field either.
yeah, but
Me too.
that,
It wasn't
that-
my field.
Yeah, for all of us.
that was actually the point I was gonna make.
Oh, okay,
you
my
reminded me is that you mentioned because it's not your field, but it didn't take away your passion. You're
Yeah.
going back to your story about your aunt, right? You're still helping people. You're still pursuing what you promised to your aunt in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just helping them in a different way. It's not maybe the same industry, but it's the same outcome, right?
I think I heard from Fred that like, hey, your passions and your goals and your aspirations could also always be changing.
Yep.
Like the older you get, or maybe like something happens in your life, hey, you could have a shift in your passion. FEG doesn't only attune to people that want to help others,
Yeah.
right? That's probably one of the biggest things is we help others. That's what
Yeah.
our products do. Whether it be financially, or just to be able to have more time with your kids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was another thing that Fred had said before that kind of like stuck to me. And it was like, you can be in FEG, you can find the passion in multiple fields, whether you want to help people, whether one of your passions is to live free and see the world. Hey, that's another one of my passions is traveling.
Yeah.
Hey, it allows me to do that.
Yeah.
Like if I was working an employee job, I have no clue how I'd be able to find
Yeah.
out much PTO or
Yeah.
like.
Or there's a lot of too young generation that maybe just lost, that they don't know which career or path they want to go.
And that's definitely huge because I kid you not, the statistics I think of like a lot of kids going into college just to go to college and then getting a degree just to get a degree and still not knowing exactly what they want. It's getting increasingly higher, and they get the degree and they don't even go into their fields.
Yeah.
And they have so
Yeah.
much debt.
And they have so much debt, and they don't even have an opportunity of something else to try to do something.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is you can try anything you want, so you can find your opportunity. But I think in this business, you're much more exposed to a lot of things that you might find your passion along the way. And what's the worst thing that can happen? If
You
it
could
didn't
even
work
do it
out,
part
right?
time.
Yeah.
Right. And I know Ace I remember Ace breaking down how much money you will spend if you continue studying for 12 years.
Oh yeah, I mean that was definitely on there for anybody who's like thinking about doing grad school and stuff. It's
Yeah.
definitely a thing to think about how much student loan you're gonna
How
have.
much debt you'll be when you
and
graduate.
you got that paper, your degree, congratulations, but you're still not earning money because you're paying that student loan now.
It's definitely reality.
But it's not taking away that you took a different path now, that
Mm-hmm.
you don't, you can still pursue it, but at least you're not in debt.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the good thing about that one. So any more questions?
No, I think he gave us a lot of information. I definitely think that his passions has changed. It doesn't mean that it's gone so far from where he started. I feel like it's still in the same line. And the good thing about it is that it gives the ability to add more passion to your list. Like, if you were a doctor, can you put traveling as a passion? You'd probably won't be able to do that.
It'd be hard.
It'd be really hard. The good thing about it is that you can make the same income as a doctor here and enjoy as much time as you want out there, enjoying and wondering and, you know, just being out in different countries.
True.
I mean, it's
Definitely.
just opportunity.
It's just that balance, you know.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing. It doesn't matter if you're earning a lot of money, but on the other hand, you don't have time, friends, family, things like that.
Yeah, it's like like example. 2 weeks ago, we were in Manhattan. We were in New York, right? You're
fun.
there.
That was a blast.
All we did was like you know, enjoy
Enjoy
and
it,
then
like
we
a
had
time.
1 day of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that came out to be like your group exploded from there.
Yeah.
And just going there to have fun and do a meeting. Imagine, and then you're gonna have the potential to hit another 100,000 on top of what you make now. There's no other business like that. I mean, it's just that's the, like, I don't know, like a lot of people don't see it, but when you see it, when your eyes are actually open and you see it and you can actually read it, that's when it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the people that haven't made the 100,000 or whatever the income that they made, they're still reading like they don't have glasses on. Like they're just like, it's not clear to them.
Yeah.
Because that path, as soon as you open that, remember you took that safety net. That's your opening. That was the change of your life. So it
really
gave
was.
you that. It gave you that opportunity.
And we appreciate your story. We like your story.
Yeah, we love it.
Just because, you know, not all of younger generation has an business mindset. Like the other guest we had, right? He already had that mindset, so it was easier for him to see the picture.
20-year-old,
right? But your story is more common.
Yeah,
Because
a higher
Or the
percentage of
average
people are
person.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So,
Definitely.
but now you walk that path, and now you get to tell the story and change
Yeah.
people's mind. And now you're actually also kind of the same time walking his path, where he went through on how to convince you.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a very, very good story.
I got one more question for you. Do you regret not going to your doctorate's degree?
No, I don't regret it.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Before, if you asked me that, probably like in the beginning when I wasn't doing anything, I'd be like, maybe, unsure. But like, you see how fast I answered, like, no, because of everything that we talked about.
Yeah.
Like, being able to help others, being able to make that income, being your own boss. Like,
It's like,
And as a person, you're different now. Like
Yeah.
when we first met you, we see like, oh, there's walls.
yeah.
After walls.
Now
For sure,
you're
for
just
sure.
you're like that mindset you have now is same in line with all three of us. So you're in the
big
right
leagues.
path. Yeah.
and with you three big
You'll
leagues.
be there. I mean, I guarantee you'll get there sooner than you think.
Yeah, you guys are my mentors, so thanks for having me here, guys.
Yeah,
that was
that was
appreciate
awesome.
it.
Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
Do you
time.
want to say something?
No, no,
I'll say,
Proud brother.
yeah,
I
love you, bro.
Just really, really proud
Yeah,
of Jeff.
I'm proud of it
Yeah.
too.
And
I mean-
I hope everybody got a lot of nuggets
Yeah.
from this. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
John.
John.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.